Okay, what I'm going to show you today is how I made my little peace stamp to use in my quote journal. It's real simple. You're going to need a piece of paper with your word on it, some kind of dark marker, anything will do, Sharpie, Posca pen, any kind of marker. A piece of cardboard that's about the size of your paper, scissors, and some sticky back foam. I think you can get at the dollar store. You can get the foam. I don't know if you can get the sticky back, but it's important that it's the sticky back foam because it would be harder to do any other way. When I'm doing it, you'll see why that is. Now you write your word the size that you want it on your paper. See, I've written love on this one. It's not very fancy because I'm trying to match up with this one it's got kind of a funky look to it, and that's what I'm looking for. All right. Now you take your dark marker and you go over and it's nice if it's thick to make a nice thick line. You go over your letters one by one. So they're nice and dark, and then you flip it over. And this is what you're going to trace on to the... Of course, since you're doing a stamp, you need the reverse. That's what we're going to be using. So now you can very clearly see how that L shows up? You can very clearly see and trace. I think I want it a little bit straighter than that. Alright, that's what you're going to want to put on the cardboard. And the one thing I didn't mention that you need, which I should have, carbon paper. Now you can do it another way. You can take a pencil on this side, a graphite pencil, and rub it down, cover it with graphite, and then when you turn it over and draw, it will work. When you trace it on there, it'll come up on your... I'll show you if I have a graphite pencil. I think I have one right here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now see how that comes through? Can you see that? So you can do it if you don't have carbon paper. You just do this all over the whole design, flip it over, tape it down like I'm going to do now, and then just trace over this side. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use carbon paper because I just like using carbon paper. I'm going to cut me a small piece of carbon paper. I'm going to need it later anyways because I'm doing a bunch of these today. Alright. So now I'm going to put my carbon paper in. Make sure you've got the reverse side up. Put your carbon paper in there. And make sure your cardboard is lined up and all of it's... You want it a little bit bigger than that piece of paper you had so you don't miss any of the lettering. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow along this thick line that I've got. Would have been even better if I've had a thicker marker, but I don't have one that's thicker. But instead of like drawing just the letter, I'm going along the outer edge, pressing down. See how I'm kind of almost outlining that letter? I'm going to do the inside of the O and the outside of the O. There is a bird outside my window. Can you hear it? It's chirping really softly. It's enjoying that I just filled the bird feeder back up. I think it's saying thank you. Going on the outside and the inside. Same thing with the E. Outside. I'm not worrying about being terribly precise. Like I said, I want these to be funky. They're on a they're going to be on a 70s page. I'm going to actually make a peace sign later too. Alright, now see? how I ended up with the outer edge. The E is not very neat, but it'll neaten up when I use the sticky foam. Alright, now the next part, you're going to want to cut strips from the foam. Now I'm using my small scissors. I would say about 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, about 1/8 of an inch strip. So you just go slowly and just cut. Yeah, about 1/8 of an inch. Now you can draw lines and do this. I'll show you in a minute. I'm just going to cut out 4 of these first. And mine, when I cut them out, they're never precise. Because the reason why I do my own stamps like this is I want the letters to look funky. So if I did them precisely, they wouldn't be quite as funky. So I'm not trying a perfect line. And I always put the thickest one. I think this is going to be the thickest one. I always put that on the first letter. But what I was telling you is you can actually draw a ruler line on this very lightly, though you don't want to impress it into the foam. And as you can see, you could follow that line very easily. But I want mine to be a little funkier, so I'm not doing that. Okay, so here's our stamp back. Now, which one's the thick one? I think this is the thickest one. I'm going to use the thickest one on the L. You're going to peel back just a little bit of the paper, not a lot. What I wouldn't give for fingernails. Well, I give anything but actually stopping biting. I don't even realize I'm doing it when I do it. Alright. Now I'm going to place it along. Let me come down a little bit closer with this. You can see better what I'm doing. Alright, I'm going to place it. See how I'm placing it along the top of the L? And pressing down. I peeled a little bit of paper off, but not a lot. And as I go down the line, I'm pushing and peeling at the same time. Now when I get to that corner, I peel a little bit more. I'm going to stick my finger on it, and I'm going to make a really hard turn. Can you see that? I made a really hard turn around the corner. Now I get to the end, and I'm going to take my scissors and just clip it right there where I need it to be. I'm going to take one of the other ones. So that's too skinny. I don't want that one. Oops, I peeled the whole thing off of that one. But if you're doing a circle, you can peel it all at once. It's not that hard. But as you're getting used to this, I would just peel a little at a time. I've done so many of these that trouble is when you peel it all up, then you can't use that piece again. Now I'm going to go right through and try and match those up the best I can. I can come by later and take that off and snip it a little better. I'm going to use the rest of this for the V. Just come to the end, press it down, and then go back to making it. Now see, I'm holding it down right there where I need to turn. Can you see that? I'm pulling it over this way, I'm pulling it, and then laying it down right there where I need it. And cut it right there. These a little bit more tricky. When I'm doing it, I usually start at the bottom here. That's a nice one. Oops, I don't want to peel it that far. Alright, so I've got it peeled back just a little. I'm going to put it where I want it to start. And I'm slowly turning the corner. See? Turn, push, turn, push, turn, push, turn, push. And I'm going to make a big turn here. Holding it down tight. Push. And push. I know it's hard to see, but coming to where it meets, push it down, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide my scissors in there and cut it just where it meets that one. Now if there's something you don't like, you can pull it up a little bit and fix it like this. Oh, I want to cut that off a little. I don't want it to overlap because it won't print right if it overlaps. Let's pull it tighter and closer. There, it'll have a little gap there, but okay, now when you're done with this, push it all down. Make sure it's what you want. I mean, you can go back in and, like, if I wanted to thicken up the L, I could do that, or whatever you want. Now, I cut the cardboard pretty tight around the stamp, but I try not to have any straight edges. Because if you, like this, when you end up with a little bit of a dab here and there, it's okay, but when you've got, see how that straight edge is there? That's not good. It looks better if there's a little curve to it. And you want to leave a little bit around it, but there we go. Now, all cut out. Now you can put I take a piece of tape if you want to put a little handle on the back. You put the tape down, push it down a little bit, peel it back on itself, fold it, and then press the other side down. And see how that leaves a little loop there? Because I don't like to get my fingers dirty when I'm stamping. Okay, so I'm going to test this one out with StazOn, see if it's what I want. Hopefully it is. Let me get a small piece of paper to print this on. Ooh, I don't like the smell of that StazOn, I'm telling you. I just refilled it, so. The nice thing about doing that kind of a handle is it'll still lay flat if you want to lay it down and do it that way. I'm flipping things all over the place. So, see how I'm laying I might as well go back up with this. So I'm laying that on there. Okay, well, as usual, the first time it stamps is usually not that good. Okay, well that is exactly what I was looking for. To go with my peace and love for my journal. As you can see, and if you see at this point anything that needs fixing, this pulls right off. And you can fix it. Let's try it again on the other side. Pulls right off. And you can fix the letters. I'd wait for the ink to dry before I started pulling stuff off, but there we go. As you can see. Peace and love. It's going to be a 70s page. Now I got to make a peace sign to go with it, and I'll be all done. Thank you very much for viewing this. I know it was short and sweet, but I have trouble doing short videos, so I'm pretty happy that it was short. Thank you very much. If you like the video, please like it. Put any comments or questions down below. I'm there to help you. I hope I remembered everything. Please subscribe to help me get this channel growing. It's growing slowly, but I love doing these. So thank you very much, and you have a nice day.